Hey, John here with the Blues Guitar Institute, and today I'm going to break down that stripped down version of the blues standard Baby Please Don't Go that you just heard. And if you're new to fingerstyle blues, this is a great one to help you cut your teeth on. It's got deep roots and it's been covered by a ton of our favorite artists, like a lot, including two of my favorites, Muddy Waters and Lightning Hopkins. But before we dig in, be sure to download my free fingerpicking quick start. It'll guide you through building the exact skills, the very skills that you're going to use in this tutorial. You can grab that at the link in the description. Now let's dig in. All right, let's pause right there and tackle that opening phrase. There's quite a lot going on, but there's a lot that carries over to the rest, so let's spend some time on it. We're starting this with the bass, and that's going to play steady bass, dead bass. It just means that the thumb is playing the open sixth string, in this case, on the beat. So if we were to count this, we would get 1, 2, 3, 4. But there's one other thing that I want to call your attention to. I'm not just playing the bass like this where it's ringing. I've got a palm mute going on, so I get that sort of dull thump sound, right? That's important. We want that. Then the melody starts on top. Let's talk a little bit about the fingers that I'm using. This is just a suggestion. If you already have a different finger picking style, then definitely use it here. But what I'm going to do is play any note that's on the third string with my index finger. Any note on the second string is going to be played with my middle finger, and then the first string, that's the top string, that's going to be played with my ring finger. So if you're brand new to fingerstyle, give that a shot. It gives you a lot of options, although you might adjust along the way, and you'll definitely kind of break out of this framework at times. But for what we're doing today, this is a really good one to play with this style of picking, okay? This framework of picking. So let's start. We're going to weave that melody into the bass line, starting on the end of 1, 1, and 2, and... All right, let's stop right there. So 1 and, that was the open first string that's being plucked again by my ring finger. 1 and 2 and. That was the D note on beat 2. Notice that falls with the bass. You can see my thumb. I'm kind of doing some exaggerated movements here so you can really see that coming down and hitting the string. And that D note is the second string, 3rd fret. And then off beat is the open first string again. Bass by itself, and then we're going to slide from the 3rd fret up to the 5th on the 2nd string. So that's the D to the E, right? When we get there, 4 and 1, 2, and we've got this cool little tag here, okay? All that's happening there is the thumb keeps going, and it's ready to play on beat 3, the G, that's the 6th string, 3rd fret. We've got that palm mute happening still, and then move your thumb to the 5th string, and you can push through to the 4th string, and we're going to fret an A chord. So bar across the 2nd fret, strings 4, 3, and 2, right? And even though we're not playing all those tones, I want you to get that A chord in place, because if you happen to push through, or later if you want to for stylistic reasons, not palm mute through that, then you're set up for success there. In other words, if you push it a little too far, you're going to get tones that work, okay? That's important. And we're going to do that same sort of strategy when we end this measure with the E chord. I'm really going to focus on going back to that dead bass and maybe pushing through and catching the 5th string as well with the thumb under the palm mute. But if I've fretted an E chord here and hit something that's maybe a little unintended or even on purpose, it's going to sound good. Here's what I mean about all that. Right? Hear how that had a few more open strings ringing than just, right? This will set you up to be able to do both. All right, for the next couple of measures, we start out the same as bar 1. The only difference is right there. We're going to do that slide in reverse, starting at the 5th fret, slide down to the 3rd, and then our little bass tag there as well. And then we start out the same yet again as bar 1, but then walk this melody down through the strings, down in pitch, right? So that's a slide back. All right, let's take a closer look at that. We know that part. When we finish that slide, I'm playing the open second string. Do it again and then come down on the A, that's the third string second fret. Then we've got that sort of on and off that we've kind of been playing with already with the open E string and then the fretted notes, right? But here, that's what we're looking for. Now, one thing of note, when I move to the fourth string for the E and then the open, notice I'm keeping my thumb going the whole time, but I moved my picking finger out of position. Remember I told you this is a framework, right? That doesn't mean you've got to keep it so rigid. There are times where you will need to change the finger to string strategy as far as your picking goes, and this is one instance. So I did that using my index finger on the third string, but makes a lot of sense to move to the fourth string and play those notes with the index finger as well. And then there's that tag to finish off the main riff. From here, you could take this, by the way, before we get into the chord change, and go and really flesh it out, fill it out, and of course speed it up. Right? So hopefully you can see that those embellishments and the rhythmic changes are possible, but you've got the bare bones here to work toward something a little more fleshed out like that. Okay, so the next part we've got, we can hang on that little tag a few times. In the opening, I think I just did it twice, and then we move into this part over the A chord. So I've got that A fretted, same as before, but now I'm being really careful about that bar. And even barring at the first string, because I'm going to play that note, the second fret, first string. All right, so now I've got the ring finger doing quite a bit of picking here. And if getting all those notes is a little bit difficult, it's totally fine to drop some of them. But that's what we're going for. And this is an A7, by the way, and maybe you play it like this. I like to play it in this fingering for some reason, but I'm just playing that G on and off the beat. 1, 2, and 3, and I do want to get that F sharp in there once, right? Just to give a little variation to that. Then we move to the E chord, and here we could do a few different things, but this is what I think is probably the most difficult part in this arrangement. Let's take a look at that. First of all, this is a position that I really want to encourage you to know if you'll ever learn another acoustic blues song, because it shows up so much. You can hear how bluesy that sounds. I've got my middle finger on the B note, third string, fourth fret, and my index finger on the D note, third fret of the second string. And that little two-note shape is where we're going to really aim when we slide in to to play this little lick. All right, so I'm playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and slide D, E, E. All right, the D is here and the E is open first string. Do it again. And then these few notes really get us out of E and over into B7. That's the open, the D, and then the open second string. Leave that ringing, and with that ringing, you can move out of position. Notice that I changed positions here to play that with my ring finger. That puts me in a really good position to fret this B7 right when the downbeat falls. And then we're going to do something similar to what we did here over our A7 and just play with the bass, which is on the 5th string under this B7 chord, and some top string notes. Let's take a listen to this part. All right, notice that we changed, and I picked up my my pinky finger from the 1st string, and then answered that on the 1st string. I think I varied the melody up there a little bit, but let's get that right. All right, that's what we're looking for. Now, we just need to tack on a turnaround. Here's that little shape again, and we're going to try and keep this dead bass going. But if you're new at this and you really want to sell the part and bring on the dead bass later, you can absolutely just pluck through these tones in this turnaround, okay? So that's just a little piece of an E major chord, right? I'm just playing it here because I can just shift the strings, right? That's where I landed, and I can just move that shape down a string set. Then get into my B7 and we're there. All right, I hope this helps get you started on your fingerpicking acoustic blues journey. I threw in a couple of slightly more difficult moves, maybe you noticed it, just to help you keep reaching and keep moving forward. But if you need help with that, or really just tuning up your technique, definitely check out the Fingerpicking Quick Start. It's going to help you get on your way and build some solid foundational skills. That's it for this lesson. I'll see you around for the next one. Until then, practice smart and play on.